This video I want to talk about the greatness of Kung Fu Panda. Recently, I've been using those tags for my titles, the tag of Kung Fu Panda, and someone even mentioned that maybe you shouldn't say that because it could be very perceived as very offensive for people that don't know you. But I want to explain why I'm using that title and that label and my view on it, so then people could get it very clear that I'm not trying to, um, you know, mean disrespect through it, but in a way, kind of use it as a symbol to what I wish to represent in the martial arts through my school, and my personal expression. So basically, Kung Fu Panda, that label, was created by Hollywood. It wasn't created by me. Hollywood decided to create that label, and it's the comedy animation, starring Jack Black as the panda, and even Jackie Chan is in there, and I think even Lucy Liu, and I think Angelina Jolie is in there. Their vocals are in there at least. And if you look at the rankings for like the most successful movies ever created, that is one of the most successful movies created. It's generated like millions of dollars, more than, I believe, more than any other martial art film out there. Um, you notice that nowadays people are really appealed to animations, like animations like Toy Story and Frozen, and all these Disney movies, and you know like these are the movies that are generating an immense amount of income. Like you're talking about millions of dollars over like movies with real actors. Movies like Godfather and the Bruce Lee films, like, is nothing in comparison to these animations. So you can see where the market is going, where people, they value comedy a lot. And Kung Fu Panda, people know what it is. It's like today, back then it used to be Karate Kid. People, like, that was the big thing back then. But now, it's like Kung Fu Panda, you know, and it's made so much money, and they've had sequels like Kung Fu Panda #1, Kung Fu Panda #2, and I think they're working on Kung Fu Panda #3. So I wanted to use that to my advantage because they're essentially promoting the Chinese culture through animation. And even though it's a comedic element to it, it's kind of like a Jackie Chan type of element to it. It's not like a Bruce Lee element where Bruce Lee demanded respect with his films and his expression. Like, it's really not really much room for laughter in his films. If anything, he'd have a sidekick by him that where you'd laugh at the sidekick, but you're not really laughing at Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was serious. Bruce Lee was deadly. Bruce Lee was the real deal. Um, that's clearly not what Kung Fu Panda is representing, for Kung Fu. It's completely the opposite. But at the same time, you know, um, I understand, why it went to that route, because too much seriousness without the proper balance becomes straight violence. So meaning, like, Bruce Lee was a balance between like seriousness and playfulness, and that's why he's known as Bruce Lee. But over the top violence would be something like Menace to Society, where there's no room for comedy at all. Like, this is like real death, and after people watching these movies, there'd be shootings in the theaters because people are just so enraged by this violence that they see in the film, that they end up they end up expressing this violence in real life. And it's the same thing that happened with Boys in the Hood. I mean, these are like the real violent films. Same thing like with Godfather. These are like serious films that are very deep and penetrating to show like the reality of the gruesomeness of like street, like like the real violence that happens on the streets. And then there's something like Bruce Lee and his films where it's not that, but then it's not Kung Fu Panda, it's not Jackie Chan, it's more balanced. But to achieve that balance, it's very delicate. It requires a lot of skill to do that, and not a lot of people could do that. And that's why, you don't really see that often. So then you would have movies like Kung Fu Panda, or you have a movie where it's just like straight violent, maybe like the movie 300 or something like that. So Kung Fu Panda is going towards the route of like making people laugh. And I would rather have people associate Kung Fu with laughter than to associate Kung Fu with like just straight violence. So kind of like the way people view MMA into very, people fighting in a cage and having blood splattered everywhere and like hurting each other. If people viewed Kung Fu in that same way, I wouldn't be happy about that. And I'd rather have people think about Kung Fu Panda than thinking about MMA when they associate, when they think about Kung Fu and what it really means. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. And another thing is, when you actually watch the movie with the Kung Fu Panda, there's deep meanings in it. And the Kung Fu Panda is really representing, the panda in the movie is really representing like a lot of humbleness. Like he's clearly a beginner. He doesn't know anything. And then he goes in there completely humble, completely open and willing to learn. He's begging to learn, and he's begging for these masters to teach him the way of Kung Fu. And that is the almost like the perfect student, the perfect disciple that every Sifu would love to have. So it's like the beginner that's just so humble and open to learn, and he surrenders to the Sifu and be like, please be my Sifu, please be my master to show me the way. And that is like a real disciple. That's like what every Sifu would want. And when I use the term Kung Fu Panda, I'm pretty much saying, okay, these are beginners, and these are humble people, and these are the people that pretty much have the inner spirit of the martial arts, and that's a good quality. And another thing is, pandas, if you just watch pandas, they're like very, very gentle and cute, and it's like they make you smile. I mean, it's like a puppy, that's not non-threatening. It's not like trying to hurt you. Like, you connect with it. You see like the love, the compassion. That's what like a panda would represent. And that's a good quality. Now compare a panda to like a tiger. Now the tiger, it's very vicious. And the tiger, of course, is something that people want to strive towards in the martial arts. They want to be strong and powerful, but it doesn't mean that that power is going to be used in the right way. So people that are too focused on the tiger and that power can really end up becoming very much corrupted by this power, and it becomes extremely dangerous. It's like, imagine just having a tiger running loose, having no control, no master. That's very dangerous. They're going to end up having to have the police shoot down the tiger and kill the tiger. But if you have a panda, panda's not nearly as dangerous as a tiger. The panda is very gentle and sweet, and people are comfortable and safe around the panda. So it's bringing the element of the spiritualness and the meditativeness to the martial arts that's pretty much desperately needed in this time. Because this culture that we live in is a culture of violence, and things are being taken too seriously. Things are being too aggressive, and Kung Fu Panda is lightening up the hearts of the people and getting them to smile and laugh and be more positive with one another. So that label, to me, I can see it as a very positive label. And then mass media, Hollywood, has already done the hard work to promote that label. So everybody knows what Kung Fu Panda is. And because they know what Kung Fu Panda is, then it makes the Kung Fu teacher, it makes his job so much easier, because now he could just associate what he teaches to be in relation to the Kung Fu Panda, and to basically put a picture in people's minds that, hey, this is a part of what I teach, and this is what a part of what I offer. So when media puts out labels like, okay, movies by Bruce Lee, movies by Jet Li, movies by Jackie Chan, movies by Donnie Yen, Kung Fu Panda, these are all representing Kung Fu, different aspects of Kung Fu. So people that are drawn in by these expressions, now they have a better idea of what type of martial arts school they want to join, okay, through these media outlets and the expression as a whole. So that is something that I want to feed off of, because creating your own label out of nowhere, it will take many decades to create a reputation for that label. Like, my own label is Freddy's Modern Kung Fu, which I created that label in December 2009. And now it's almost 2006, so it's been about 6 years that I've been trying to, not 6 years, about 5 years, because I was out of YouTube for about a year. So it's been about 5 years that I've been promoting that label. And still, people are getting to know what that label is, but still, it's nothing compared to the amount of people that are exposed to the labels that Hollywood presents to the people. And the other label that I'm going by is my name, and title, Sifu Freddie Lee. That's another label that I'm putting out there for the last 5 years for people to associate with what is Kung Fu. So we got Bruce Lee, we got Jet Li, we got Donnie Yen, we got Jackie Chan, we got Kung Fu Panda, we got Sifu Freddie Lee, we got Freddy's Modern Kung Fu, and then Bruce Lee created the label Jeet Kune Do. That's another label associated with the Chinese martial arts and Kung Fu. Then there's other label, Wing Chun, which is very much well known out there because of Bruce Lee. And then there's the Shaolin Kung Fu, which has been promoted by the mass media with the Shaolin monks. There's Wushu, the label associated with Kung Fu that pretty much became popular because of Jet Li. There's Tai Chi in that label, So these are all important labels to kind of be associated with this overall expression of the Chinese martial arts that we're trying to push into the forefront. So using these labels and using them properly is an important marketing, an important marketing strategy to reach out to the customers and the students that are really looking for the right teacher, that they connect with. So that's why I'm using that label. I'm not using it in a disrespectful way. I'm using it as a way to represent, like, hey, this is a school that is looking for humble people that are open to learn, that are non-aggressive, that are more passive, that don't want to fight, but at the same time find joy in training how to fight. So that's it.